And there we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host for tonight, Jen. And today we are going to be focusing on the Seattle Reign. So before we get down to the nitty gritty and the crowd goes wild, before we get down to the nitty gritty, let's introduce our panel first. We'll start with you, Karen. How have you been? It's been a while since we've seen you.
It has been a while because every time I'm trying to come on this show, my sound doesn't work. So, yay! Third time's a charm.
Yes, we can attest to that. We have been having sound issues with the Kraken, but fortunately they got resolved for today.
Just for my
and yes, it was like some kind of weird convergence or whatever that it finally got working right when the Seattle spotlight is coming on.
Yeah.
I kid. Next, we are going to go to a face we haven't seen in a long time. Jackie, how are you? How have you been since the last time we saw you?
Yeah, I've been okay. It's awesome to be back. It has been quite some time, but I'm back with the crew.
Woo!
And we are glad to have you back with the crew. And finally, we have a special guest tonight. Special guest, please introduce yourself and who you represent.
All right. My name is Jessica, and I'm here with the supporters group, the Royal Guard. So basically, I'm the one who bangs the drum and yells at people to cheer louder.
Yeah!
Yes, we always love a good drumming at a game.
Yeah.
Always get the crowd going. All right. So, first item on the agenda, we are going to talk about said supporters group, and we will go back to Jessica. Talk to us a little bit about the Royal Guard, what you do before and after games, how you are different from other supporters groups, those kinds of things.
Okay. Yeah, so we, like, before games, we usually try and get together and hang out pre-funk, you know. Sometimes it doesn't work out because we all have to work and everything, but we do it when we can, and we try and get in the stadium a little early, get set up any TIFO that we're working on. Once the game starts, it's pretty similar to a lot of other people's, but usually during the second half, we have a special visitor from the Austin Everett Foundation. And if anybody doesn't know, the Reign FC is partnered with the Austin Everett Foundation. We have honorary team captains who are kids who are sick, and they come out and we cheer for them, and they get to meet some really awesome players, meet some awesome people. And then they come up to our section and they get to play with the supporters group. They get to lead some cheers and stuff. So we think that's really awesome. And we love just being able to help make somebody's day. We love that. So that's like the one big difference, I think, that I've seen. But yeah.
Well, that sounds really cool. I just do a quick plug, encourage anyone to go check out the Austin Everett Foundation. If you're curious about it, go check that out. Excuse me, got a little frog in my throat. So we are going to talk about how the team performed last season. What do you think of it? We'll start with you, Jackie. Your thoughts on the 2016 Seattle Reign?
Yeah, last year I think for Reign fans, it was definitely a down year in terms of wins, productivity, goals. Just one of those years where it wasn't quite going for us. We had a few key injuries early in the season, and the former Reign player now, Kim Little, wasn't scoring as many goals as we had hoped, and neither was Fishlock. I think she scored one goal maybe last year, if I'm right. So all in all, it was, in terms of what we're used to, it was a down year, but still a lot of great things came from it.
Jessica?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I mean, it wasn't – I was on this show last year, and I projected we'd make the playoffs, and obviously that didn't quite happen. We were close, but it didn't quite work out in the end. But, yeah, I think we had a good – off season, we've built off it, and I think we're setting ourselves up really well for this season.
So. All right. Karen, you have anything else to add? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I mean, Reign fans were used to being at least towards the top all the time, except for obviously the first season. But we're pretty much used to that. But I think last year was kind of like a quintessential Reign FC season, even though we didn't make the playoffs, just because it was kind of like that roller coaster where you would like get this like amazing win and then you wouldn't, and then you would, and then you wouldn't. And that for me was kind of like, it made me an even bigger fan, even though we didn't make the playoffs. And then I always say this whenever I talk about the Reign, but there was a lot of off-field stuff that was going on with Seattle Reign that was incredibly impressive just as a team and like management-wise, and Laura Harvey and the players. All of the stuff with Megan Rapinoe kneeling and the way that the team handled that and like supported her and stuff like that. The way that they handled the field situation that was very unsafe that happened at Western New York, that was very bad on NWSL's part and stuff. The way that Laura Harvey handled that, the way that the team and the management handled that, and the players. So there's a lot of stuff that even though Seattle didn't win or even make it into the playoffs, it was the perfect like show of like, this is why Seattle Reign FC has its fans. That's why I'm a fan of the team. So in that way, I think that it was actually a pretty good season.
Yeah, for me it was. I kind of felt like Seattle never really could get going.
Nah, not really.
Anytime something good would happen, something bad would happen after, and they'd come crashing back down to where they were. It was like they could never really get on that roll that they were on in 2014 and 2015. And of course the off the field stuff, as Karen mentioned, that game in Rochester that we don't talk about. So
I'm gonna talk about it.
Yeah, let's just move on because that's a billion times. And the whole situation with Rapinoe, with Hope, all this off-field stuff, and the fact that they were out of the playoffs by 2 points, and it came down to the last weekend of the season. I think speaks volumes to how, what's the word I'm looking for? How well Harvey was able to hold that team together despite all those off the field issues. So I think while not making the playoffs after 2 Shield winning seasons might be considered a disappointment, you can't be too mad because this is a very competitive league, and any given day, any team can beat any other team. So yeah, it was a bit sad to see them kind of fall, but not a huge disappointment for me. So again, I'm glad my team made the playoffs instead of the Reign because I am a Flash/Courage fan, but you guys made it really close at the end.
Yeah,
I was very nervous. So that was last season. Moving on to 2017, got a few new players coming in, some departures. Karen, we'll go back to you. Which new players are you most looking forward to watching this season?
I'm looking forward to Rebecca Stott. She's going to be adding a lot to our defense, I think. I think, honestly, the Reign, their defense this season was not as solid as it's been in the last couple of seasons. And I think we really do need some padding in that defense. We also lost Kendall Fletcher, so that is going to be a huge, huge, huge loss. She was kind of like the backbone of our back line. So having Stott in there is going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see if Merritt Mathias stays in defense or if they move her around some more. And then also having Christine Nairn in the midfield because we're missing now. Kim Little's gone, which makes me want to cry. And then Keelan Winters is also gone, also makes me want to cry. So those are like two huge players in the midfield that aren't there now. So Christine Nairn is going to be a really good player if she can be consistent. So yeah, and like you mentioned before the show, her set pieces are going to be critical. So those are two players that I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be interesting to see if the drafts somehow fit into all of this the way that Pickett did last season. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes as well. But for the most part, I think Nairn and Stott are like the two top that I'm going to be watching.
Okay. Let's go to you, Jessica. Looking at the midfield, the roster that they released for the preseason has a lot of names on it, but at least half of them are non-roster invitees, which are trialists or haven't come in yet. It's looking a little bit of a thin group. But who from that list do you see maybe possibly having a shot of getting a roster spot on the team?
Ooh, from the non.
From the midfield. Which group who do you see as the midfield group going into this season?
Well, I mean, obviously Christine Nairn for sure. We got her back, so that's great. Hopefully Rapinoe can play that midfield forward type thing again. Obviously Jess Fishlock, and then we can throw probably Naho in the mix. I mean, we've got a lot of really solid midfield forward attacking types, and then Jess Fishlock with our holding mid. I haven't really had a chance to check out a ton of the non-roster invitees. Finals have kind of killed me, but I'm looking forward to checking those out as the season gets closer. So.
And now for Jackie, one of the biggest losses for the Reign this past season has been not only Kim Little, but Mana Mellis. Those two were the top two scorers for the Reign last season. Who do you see stepping up to fill the void and provide the offense for Seattle this year?
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, Mellis was our top scorer. She had 7 goals. I think she played fantastic, but I think the one person that I'm hoping they can step up and contribute and be a leader. I guess it's 2 parts actually, Fishlock and Nairn. If those two can somehow find the right amount of chemistry and trust with each other, along with some of the new teammates, if we see Larissa Crummer maybe, I think those two, Fishlock and Nairn, I think hopefully, and Bev, Yanez, hopefully they can lead the way, and I think their leadership is vital to how far we can go.
Yeah, for me, seeing Bev Yanez kind of take a step back in the goal scoring department after she really lit it up in 2015 was kind of a disappointment. So I'm hoping that she can get that form back and start producing some goals for Seattle. So let's go to who among the returning players do you think needs to have I wouldn't say needs to have a monster season, but I think really needs to maybe hasn't stepped up before, but needs to step up now. We'll start with you, Jessica.
Well, okay, so mine's kind of, she had a really great season, but she also hasn't been in this position necessarily before, and that's Haley Koppmeyer. We've always had hope as that, she's the starter, she's the one. Haley would step in every so often when there was national team duty or something like that, but now it's all Haley. And it'll be interesting to see. I think she's going to do a great job with it. I think she's already been primed and known it was coming for a little while, so she's had time to prepare. And hopefully she can, work with her defense and really stay mentally sharp so she can have a great season for us.
We'll go back to Karen. Which returning player do you think needs to step up?
I'm gonna say Ellie Reed needs to step up. I think because the back line needs to be a lot stronger, and I think honestly last season she had kind of like a forgettable season, honestly. There were some games when she was super turned on and like epic, but for the most part, I think she was consistently kind of on like the lower tier of performance each game. So I think she really needs to step up because there are going to be a lot of players who are going to be gunning for her position. And so I think that she needs to show that she belongs there. So she's definitely high on that list. And then I also think Fishlock, honestly. I think Fishlock needs to really have an amazing season because I'm pretty sure she's going to be the captain. And honestly, I think the captain needs to be not just like the center of the team, but like when she's turned on, the team is turned on. And it's been like that with her and with Kim Little. So I think with Jess Fishlock, she's going to need to be on like every single game, which I'm sure she's fine with. So, because she's Jess Fishlock. So yeah, I would say those two for sure.
Well, I'd like to thank you for taking my Ellie Reed answer. That's what I was going to say. Jackie, same question for you.
I would have to say maybe a two-way tie for Megan Rapinoe. I think I agree with Karen about defense, especially those players. A lot of players are up for position, and last year we kind of had a bit of a down year. It was sometimes it was a little shaky than I would like, and so I think Lou Barnes for sure and Megan Rapinoe. Megan, I don't know. I feel like it's been so long since she's played like a full 90-minute game, to a game where she was just on all cylinders. So I think I'd love to see her get back on track. And I'm not sure if I'd call it a comeback year, but kind of along those lines of she's back, she's ready to help lead this team and be the Megan Rapinoe that we all know and love. So.
Yeah.
I'm surprised none of you mentioned the name Merritt Mathias. It's been a somewhat bit of a testy subject among some Reign fans as to her play on the field. Besides Karen stealing my Ellie Reed and then Jackie stealing Megan Rapinoe from me, I'm gonna say I think Merritt Mathias needs to have a season where she's not getting into trouble so much on the field with fouls and whatnot. I think she needs to have a position where she can be settled consistently, where she can produce consistently, not this, 1 week you're playing in the back line, 1 week you're up top. I think Harvey needs to find a spot for her, whether it's in the back line or up top. If they can do that and she can produce what I thought she did with Kansas City, I think that'll be one less problem for Harvey. If she can't, it might be time to think about putting her on the bench full time because she was very iffy for me. So those are the one thing that I think Laura Harvey gets a lot of criticism for is reliance on older players and internationals and not really going through the draft. She's had the odd draft pick come good, Christine Nairn, Haley Kottmeyer, even though Nairn was mostly with the Spirit. Is there a rookie that you think might be able to step up and maybe get it not, if not a starting position, then maybe some decent minutes? We'll start with Jackie.
I would have to say probably Katie Johnson from USC. I watched a handful of her games from her senior year, and I think she could be a huge asset if she gets the right amount of playing time. Paired with Nairn and Fishlock, I think she could be someone who comes in either off the bench or maybe even grabs a start and grabs kind of that spotlight up top. And I'm excited for her, for sure. So Katie Johnson.
Jessica?
Yeah, I would probably say Maddie Bauer, because like we said, our defense and midfield's a little, I mean, mostly our defense is a little shaky, and to have someone who can be that defender style player who could also move up to the midfield if we need her to. We don't have the best track record with midfield healthiness, so having that would be great, I think, but also having somebody who can step in on the back line if somebody's having a rough game. So it'll be interesting to see how she does continuing in preseason and moving into the season.
Karen, you have anything to add?
No, I was going to say Maddie Bauer for the same reason, because of her ability to be a defender, but also help in midfield. So perfect.
Yeah, you guys pretty much said it all. I don't really have anything to add to that other than I'm hoping at least one of them can maybe grab some playing time. Final question, where do we see the Seattle Reign finishing this season? We'll start with our Super Reign guest fan, Jessica. Where do you see them finishing?
Okay, there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of new pieces that we're trying to fit into this very, very complicated puzzle that Harvey calls a team. And I think if we can pull that together, if Harvey can, get everybody where she wants them, when she wants them, as healthy as she wants them, we could go all the way. I'm going to go for it. We're going to the championship and we're going to win.
Jackie.
All right, well, it's hard to follow that. Well, of course, I have, all the trust in the world in Harvey and the team that she thinks is right for this season. I'm just going to say I have us making the playoffs this year. Not going to say any more.
Fair enough. Karen?
I think we're going to make the playoffs. I'm not sure about the championship. This last year showed just like how much parity there is in the league now. The fact that Seattle didn't just like plow through everybody again says a lot about how much more mature the league is now, and the coaches as well, and how much smarter they are now. And all of the teams have been doing a lot of crazy stuff in the off season. It's not just Laura Harvey doing all the crazy stuff like it's been. So I'm gonna say playoffs. I don't know if we're gonna win the whole championship, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. We're gonna get first. First place, we're gonna take the whole thing, not just the shield. So, boom.
I want to preface this by saying this is not a knock on Seattle. This is a reflection of how tight this league is. They are in my group of 8 that I can see finishing anywhere from 1st to 8th. I legitimately could see them finishing anywhere. Same with any of the other teams that I would have in my top 8. I'm having the worst time trying to place these teams. My opinion changes hourly. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to put them back at 5th. I think maybe if they hadn't lost Matheson to the 3 dreaded letters that we shall not speak of, I might have had more confidence on them to maybe finish in the top 4. But I think right now they're a little thin in the midfield, and not a tremendous amount of quality depth up top. So I think that could ultimately keep them out of the playoffs. But again, like I said, really close league. I could easily see them finishing 1st. I could see them finishing 8th. So we'll see what's going on. But I'll just go with a 5th place for now. That'll probably change tomorrow. So, all right. So, does anybody have any final thoughts on the Seattle Reign before we sign off?
I think apparently I do. I think that nobody's talked about Naho, but I do think that Naho is a little piece of magic from the Seattle Reign days of yore, if you will. And she was missed for a whole lot of time, and then she came back for a little bit of last season, and that first game that she came back, I think all of us Reign fans were like, we're winning everything now, ha ha, and then it didn't work out. But I think that she is a little piece of magic that, because she's small and quiet, goes kind of like to the wayside. But without Kim Little on the team, as much as we're gonna miss Kim Little, I think Naho is going to be that like magical piece that's up front. And I think that her and Bev work really well together. So that's gonna be exciting.
Okay. Any final thoughts from Jackie or Jessica?
I just want to say, go Reign.
Yeah.
Let it rain.
I think I don't know. I think with the departures of Winters and Little and Solo, Mellis, and Fletch, which, let's be honest, that's quite a chunk of incredible commitment and talent overall. But I think with the pieces that we've added, I'm very excited to see what this team can do and what Harvey comes up with.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before we sign off, Jessica, where can people find you and the Royal Guard online?
Online, yes, we have a Facebook group. There is a Tumblr, I think. There's also a website, and you can just Google Royal Guard. You should be able to find all of that. So we might also we do have a Twitter, and it's very active. So check that out.
It is. That's true.
Yes, and it is quite funny at times too. So, all right, so that'll do it for us. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been another episode of Off the Post, and with that, time to wave.